For a show called The Penguin, not a ton of penguin in this episode. But don't let that sway you, this episode is still very, very good. Like, subscribe, comment down below, and tell a friend. If you're new, check out the rest of the channel and let me know what you think. Let's dive into The Penguin, Episode 4. A lot of this episode is dedicated to flashbacks, which I really did not mind at all. This episode picks up right at the end of episode 3 when Vic crashes his car into one of Nadia Maroney's goons, saving Oz and Sophia's lives. Except this time it's from Sophia's perspective. In the midst of the chaos, Sophia cracks her head on the pavement and manages to call her doctor just before losing consciousness. From here is where the flashback begins. We go back through the past 6 months of Sophia's life, and I really enjoyed this. This whole section of this episode added so much context to not only Oz and Sophia's relationship, as it was revealed last week that he betrayed her somehow, but also to Sophia and Carmine's relationship before he was killed by the Riddler in The Batman. There is so much nuance to Oz and Sophia's relationship. I mean, we see how close they were at one point. Oz began his career inside this family as Sophia's driver, nothing more, nothing less. They went everywhere together, spent all hours of the day together. They were, for a time, each other's closest relationship. Yet there is this silent rift growing between them. Oz has ideas. He wants to be heard, and he also wants to protect Sophia at the same time. You get the sense that he genuinely cares for her. There are a couple instances where he makes his opinions known and Sophia sort of snaps at him, reestablishing his lowly position in this criminal empire. This increasing division between them comes to head when Oz witnesses Sophia meeting with a reporter who requests her help in investigating leads on a serial killer dubbed the Hangman. Oz reports this to Carmine. And this is where the relationship gets even more complicated. It truly seems like Oz was just trying to protect Sophia. Sure, he has ambitions to rise within this family, but as I stated before, he seems to really care for her. However, she doesn't buy it, and unfortunately they never get to confront this split as Sophia is soon arrested on the behest of Carmine himself. Now for Carmine and Sophia's relationship. It is juicy. Sophia looks up to her father, she respects him, and he reciprocates. He puts this on display one night at dinner as he confirms that when he's gone, he wants her to be his successor. But just like Oz, there's something boiling under the surface. Sophia's mother committed suicide by hanging when she was very young. However, Sophia has never fully bought into this reality because she never recalls her mother struggling with any sort of mental illness, even though Carmine is adamant that she did. After Oz reveals her meeting with a reporter, Carmine confronts Sophia. Losing complete trust in her and suspecting she has discovered that he is the one responsible for her mother's death, he has her arrested, under the guise that she is in fact the Hangman, and then she is locked up in Arkham. Even when she hires a lawyer to try and fight this, everyone in the family, except for Alberto, writes in testimonies to the prosecutor confirming she is mentally unstable. From here is where it gets wild. We get a walkthrough of Sophia's last 6 months at Arkham as she was subjected to hospital-sanctioned beatings, constant electroshock therapy, and they even set her up to take the fall for murdering another inmate. And all the while, she's fighting to keep herself from actually losing her mind because of all the torture and abuse. And it's at this point we flip back to the present. Sophia wakes up on Dr. Rush's couch, and he tells her that maybe it's time to start fresh, which leads to my favorite portion of this episode. Sophia hilariously shows up to a family dinner at the Falcone compound and embraces the family before confronting all of them for betraying her. And then she just bounces off to bed. But you know something is cooking just below the surface. Sure enough, come morning, Sophia straps on a gas mask and enters the compound, to hallways and bedrooms littered with corpses. It's revealed that she leaked carbon monoxide into the house, silently killing everyone except Vidi, who she purposely kept alive for reasons currently unknown. Even though this episode was a departure from the main subject matter present throughout the first 3 episodes, it was electric. We get all this backstory that we've been missing, and it's so much better, especially as television being a visual medium, not to just spout this off in some throwaway exposition or dialogue, but to actually show us. It adds so much substantive context to Sophia, her relationship with Oz, and we even get a closer look into Carmine's life before he was killed. And Kristen Milioti is incredible. Her emotional range in just this episode alone is insane. I've thought she's been absolutely fantastic for this entire series so far, but this episode is an award-worthy performance. Also, Mark Strong as Carmine Falcone, chef's kisses. I love The Batman, I thought it was terrific, but one of my chief complaints of that film was John Turturro as Carmine Falcone. Turturro is a good actor, that's undeniable, but I just don't think he fits the bill of that character or even fits in the ambiance of this universe. And seeing Mark Strong take the reins, I wish he would have been Carmine all along. He's great in this role, and it sucks we won't get to see him go toe-to-toe with bats. I thoroughly enjoyed this episode, and it sets us up for this inevitable confrontation with Oz, seeing that he's betrayed Sophia not only once, but twice at this point. And I'm here for it. She's just as ruthless and as cunning as he is. And I'm excited to see what her plan is going forward and how Oz inexorably wriggles out of it. This show continues to be so enjoyable, and I already cannot wait for next week's episode.